Kia ora, welcome back everybody. Hey, first of all, just a big thank you to everybody for all the kind support, the encouragement. Really does mean the world to me. Thank you very much. With that being said, we're here for another reaction with regards to Soldiers of Fortune and the private security space. So let's jump in.
Coming up to the Sheraton Hayden is where they had the big bomb last year.
Guns running after us.
Ja, maar daar is Safa.
Shall this one?
Hang on, we're getting stopped here. I don't know why.
Can they come off?
The rear vehicle has been stopped at gunpoint. The next few seconds will dictate how Barry and the team will react.
We've gone static.
Right, John, there's just a problem with taking footage going past there.
You got caught filming. Sukran.
We got pulled over there because the rear car, they observed them filming. It's just that everyone is so paranoid and scared because what the insurgents do is they video their attacks. They use it as proof and then they put it on their websites to promote their cause. So anyone seen with a video camera, okay, they don't know what your intentions are and it could be the prelude to an attack. So that is why we got pulled over there, I would assume.
We're just going to do a U-turn.
Yeah, there's everything Barry's talking about, obviously bang on, but yeah, lots of what ifs and queries in and around that. You had to be very careful traveling around. You don't want to be pulling out any sort of obvious camera and filming as you're going past, just in terms of not only that, in terms of something about to happen, but just potentially collecting information which could be used. So those people, those static guards, the security looking around, not knowing who these people are, why are they filming us? That could be, like you said, a prelude to an attack, or it could be just information, intelligence gathering, going away, and then maybe planning something later on, So it's a tricky one. And then, well done, the teams and that, clearly staying calm. We didn't see any footage or anything of that, of what was happening, but stayed calm in that moment. But you just need to be a bit smarter, about how blatantly obvious you are making things look with regards to your camera usage and that sort of stuff in those sort of places anyway, where tensions and situational awareness type stuff is already fairly high and you're already on edge.
On this roundabout, yeah?
John, it looked at it, mate. I'd rather you turn around on this roundabout. I think we've seen enough what we need to do for our recce.
Okay, mate.
Well, the longer you're staying stuck in traffic, okay, the easier it is for you to be seen. And no matter what you, me, or anybody that's not Iraqi does, we look like a foreigner. The insurgent will look at that as an opportunity to kill somebody. And unfortunately, that somebody, being a Westerner, is worth more kudos and more money for them than a local Iraqi from another tribe. So the idea of when you're doing a route recce or you're driving is to keep moving, always keep moving.
Less than 24 hours after Barry arrived in Baghdad, he's had a sharp reminder that Westerners can travel in this city only with full security and in armoured vehicles. Whether it's the armed militia protecting their local neighbourhood or one of Baghdad's 23 insurgent groups hell-bent on destroying anything from the west, death or kidnapping is a constant danger.
That looks like the bridge, could be wrong, looks like the bridge or one of the bridges getting ready to go into the green zone. I'm not sure if this is it.
So at the outer security of the IC, Hayden, you're going to have to shut your camera down. Okay, Hayden.
Didn't say, so maybe it wasn't.
Here's an example of a Kiwi. He's flown the coop on his big OE in Baghdad. And it's because of the Kiwi guys. I mean, their training and their talent, which is why companies like this want them. And it also pays for the lifestyle that, they deserve. And the reality is the guys over here who are, working hard and working very well. But basically all they want, is live a damn good life, a damn comfortable life. And unfortunately, you just can't get that back in New Zealand. with our skills back there, it just doesn't pay. So that's why they're here.
Yeah, it must have been tough. It's a interesting corridor, conversation, discussion, sharing of his thoughts, his whakaaro around the Kiwis and that were over there at the time. There may still be some over there now, I'm not sure, but there was a heck of a lot of Kiwis over there for our small country, and having the presence or the numbers that we had over there, sort of a few hundred, like that's a lot of people for our small country. Maybe there was more than that as things went on, as the years went on. Bowen is talking about the skills that you have, and a bit hard to try to have or maintain a certain type of lifestyle. I guess it depends on what you're after, and what type of lifestyle you'd like. I think we'd all, and I'm no different, I think we would all like to have a comfortable lifestyle, stress-free even if we could, but I don't think there's any such thing as stress-free, regardless of whether you're wealthy or whether you're not wealthy. I think there's always stress involved. But yeah, I suppose depending on the type of lifestyle that you have and what those luxuries are that you might like to enjoy, or that you think makes your life what you think it needs to be. But my experience anyway, you don't need a lot. You can get by with very little and still be happy. And so yeah, that's just my 2 cents and stuff on it anyway. But it definitely provided an opportunity to be able to live comfortably and to provide for your family, and even extend beyond that to help out others. So there's lots of pros and benefits that came through having the opportunity to go work in that environment as well.
As the sun sets on another scorching day in Baghdad, all around the city, Kiwis are heading back to rooms like the ones we have just seen. For them, the rewards continue to outweigh the dangers. But for Barry, this same decision, with its implications for his family, will soon be called into question in ways he did not think possible.
It was always kind of a struggle to bring up 4 kids and on an average wage, but there had to be something better out there that he could utilise his skills, and this was an opportunity for him to do that. We both decided that, we've got some dreams and goals we'd like to attain, and this will be one vehicle that would get us there.
Kiwis travel to Iraq for a variety of reasons, but there can be no doubt the most common is money, to pursue the Kiwi dream of home ownership, to see their families provided for.
I know that Barry has to go to dangerous countries to do what he does. He wants to be the provider, and without money, he's not a happy man.
It's almost like a Hail Mary move to a lot of people, where in order to get out of debt, in order to buy that boat or to pay off that house, they choose working as a security contractor.
Yeah, I can hear, there she is again. So Barry's wife speaking to that, you want to, I think any male wants to be the provider, the protector for the family, right? And so Barry would not be alone in that situation. And for soldiers or former soldiers, you have some skills and some experience and some ability to be able to go and utilize that or share that experience and skill, whatever you want to call it. And in this case, an opportunity to go to places like this and fortunately or unfortunately, depending on which side of the fence you sit on, have an opportunity to make some money, or make a significant amount of money, at least from my perspective anyway. It was a significant amount of money within a very short period of time. And it enabled us, or my family, to be able to, have the lifestyle that we had and to live fairly comfortably and to continue to be a single income family for a long, long time. So it's been a huge blessing, but yeah, there's obviously risks associated with it, but there's risks in anything.
Him going to dangerous countries and living in Iraq, it's not great, but you know what? He loves it.
She sounds, obviously very aware of what her man enjoys, and very supportive is the other thing that I'm picking up from Barry's wife. Makes me, think of mine and how grateful I am for her and the support that she has. And yeah, I think she would. I don't know if she would say that I loved it. I'm not sure. Maybe she would. Maybe that's a question I need to ask her. But I think she would have a response sort of along the lines of, it's what he wants to do, and it's maybe because he wants to do it, maybe he enjoys it. But yeah, I did enjoy going over there. I probably largely enjoyed just being with the guys over there. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, the money was great, 100%. Like, that was awesome. Like, very, very helpful, and I was appreciative, grateful for it. But there's something about being, for me anyway, being with the guys that I was with over there. It was it was cool. I looked forward to seeing them, and looked forward to going out on a job with them, as and when the jobs came up, day to day, week to week, month to month, and just being ready to go because I knew that they were as well.
Kiwis enjoy this work because the truth is they're very good at it. Considered within the industry to be some of the world's best, no better example of the demand for New Zealand military skills exists than US news network CBS choosing Kiwis alongside Britain as the only countries they will accept security from.
Yeah, CBS, an American company, is guarded by New Zealanders, right? Big country, big company, guarded by guys from a small island far away, right? Yeah. How do you figure that? Well, I mean, these guys are our buffer against the worst of what's going on out in those streets. And the worst that's going on those streets every day is death, and sudden death. If it weren't for them, you wouldn't have reporters here.
There's thousands of PSD people over here, and some make it and some don't.
That's high praise from the gentleman there, the bureau chief for CBS at the time, from what I could see. But it was, and it was nice, it's nice, and hopefully it's humbling for Kiwis to see. Don't get me wrong, I worked with some incredible Australians over there as well. Not as much as I did in terms of working with the Kiwis and the Brits. So during my time anyway, I worked largely with the ex-Kiwi badged members and British badged SAS members, and then worked with a couple of former Australian badged members as well. So some good men, good people all around. But I suppose from part of the reason that I think I was sent this, or had a few requests for this reaction to this video, is that not many people realise, I suppose, in our little country, apart from soldiers, that the type of work that ex-Kiwi military, not just ex-Kiwi SAS, but just ex-Kiwi military in general, particularly from an infantry background, and even those with a non-infantry background, but more so specifically for those with an infantry background, the type of work that they were doing over there. And also just there seemed to be, at least in my experience anyway, a good opinion of the soldiers that came from NZ, or ex-soldiers that came from NZ and that were working in that space. And yeah, it was nice to see and to hear that type of stuff. And you heard words to the effect of that from the bureau chief, just speaking about some of the, I suppose, the positivity around the ability and skills of Kiwi soldiers at that time, or doing the work over there. So yeah, that's not a slight on any other country, by the way. Yeah, not at all. Like I said, awesome operators across the board. But for just our little small country, it was pretty nice to be acknowledged, humbling, and yeah, nice to be acknowledged. So, and as I'm sure it is for those guys, and hopefully it is for those that may be watching this that may have served over there. And there may even be some people over there that didn't realise that was the thoughts of some of the clients, we'll call them, that you had the opportunity to look after. I think we heard that, in Nam's one anyway, rest in peace to the brother, that he was, and I think his wife mentioned it in one of the earlier reactions, that clients would actually request him and want him on their detail and on their team. So that's awesome.
skill is something that has to be second nature. You have to be able to rely on your gut instincts, on the hairs on the back of your neck. You certainly have to rely on your friends and rely on each other as a group. If there's one person in that chain that's weak, okay, the whole chain will come down.
They come with a personality that's flexible, and in this place where things can really get on your nerves after a while, they never show a glimmer of being, anything but even keel. You see it all here. You see these security companies barrel down the road in their big SUVs, guns pointed out the window, and you'll see a guy maybe sitting behind a 30 or 50 caliber machine gun, their heads wrapped in their black claws, balaclavas, the sunglasses. The antithesis of being friendly. And the best of them are low-key, professional, try to blend in, don't advertise.
The way, and I think of the culture of New Zealanders, and particularly in the military, it's always been a hearts and minds kind of program. You go out there and you try and get people on your side. That if you treat somebody as you want to be treated yourself, you'll come out on bet. You'll come out with friends rather than enemies.
And that's true. That is a big part, I think, of the culture in NZ. You do try to, and I think we've got in general a fairly friendly nature. That's my take anyway. And you do try to build relationships with, particularly when you're in another country. So little things like, how do I say hello in your language, or how do I say good morning? So in Iraq, when you're over there and you're trying to learn bits of the language, it might be something as simple as good morning, or sabah khair, or sabah noor. So it's saying good morning and then good morning back to the person, or shalom setak alayum. So how are you today? Forgive my accent and that sort of stuff. I was never spectacular at it anyway, but those little, regardless of where you're from, people see you trying to make an effort, and genuinely trying to make an effort to pronounce it the way that they say it in their language. In my experience anyway, it goes a long way. Whether you're speaking Japanese or whether you're speaking Afrikaans, like goeiemôre, hoe gaan dit, like good morning, how are you? My experience and my thoughts anyway, it gives you a little bit of credit in the bank, if that makes sense. When people put down from a different country and they use te reo Māori, not that I'm fluent in te reo Māori, but they use that in some of theirs, and they're like, oh, sorry if I get this wrong, or how was that? Like, I appreciate that as a New Zealander, when people, they want to do that. That's awesome. I don't expect it. I don't think people should have to. But the fact that they try, and if they misspell it or if they don't pronounce it quite right, it's no big deal to me. But I appreciate that. I think it says a lot about the person and their efforts of trying, if it's coming from a good place. I think that comes through. So yeah, the hearts and minds are important, especially when you're in a foreign country and you're wanting to try to do your job as well as you can. That's my take anyway. I could talk about that for a long time, but yeah, I definitely think it's important, and it plays a key part. It's our time.
The threat, the enemy, is everywhere in Baghdad. And as the sun sets over the compound in the red zone, where the team is staying, the reality of this civil war becomes obvious. Death in this city is always just one bomb, one bullet away.
We'll pause that one there. Some dramatic music and scenery and gunshots firing in the background. Could be any number of things. Sometimes when the football was on, and if Iraq won or whatever, or even if they lost, there'd be some blasting of rounds across the town in Baghdad, at least anyway, and many other places. And you think to yourself, bloody hell, those bullets are got to come down somewhere, brother. But didn't seem to stop them. That could have been a contact. There could be things going on whereby maybe a compound is having to defend itself, or there could have been an attack happening. Who knows? But yeah, it's not uncommon. You can sort of almost become a little bit desensitized to it to a degree when you're over there, with regards to the hearing of gunfire and what sounds like mortars impacting or IEDs or bombs going off. When it's close to where you are, though, we've definitely felt, your bureau and the building rattle and shake when it's been within close proximity. That's definitely not just some people cracking off some rounds for the sake of it. But yeah, interesting to sort of have a bit of a trip down memory lane on this, just coming up to nearly at halfway of this video so far, and I'll come back to this one a bit later on. So anyway, I'll park this here. Appreciate you all, Thank yous again for your time, for your support, the encouragement, being here. Hopefully you get something, if not a laugh at me, hopefully you get something out of these, even if it's just a bit of an insight in terms of my perspective of what I found when I was over there. I might get some places wrong when I'm looking at some of the footage, which I may have done on here. I think I mentioned there's a part there where it looked like a bridge, where it seemed like they were going into the green zone, but maybe it wasn't. There was no mention of it. But yeah, just really appreciate any of the time that you spend here on this little channel. So that being said, as always, for any of you that are going through any challenges, trials or struggles out there, any hardships, hard times, I just encourage you to keep turning up, to keep staying in the fight, to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and to know that the sun will shine again, to know that there are better days ahead and that those better days are closer than you think. So just keep turning up, keep staying in the fight. Remember to go always a little further. Who dares wins. And as always, until the next video, a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude.